Now, in this lecture, this is third lecture, we are going to learn about cloud computing services, IAAS, PAAS, SAAS. Before cloud computing, it's a difficult to expensive start internet company based on whether you are product ready or process. So before the cloud computing, what companies used to do? They used to do setting of storage, then data, then application. So cloud computing service providers, let me understand. Traditionally, we use this process. So in this image, you can see you manage and IAS manage, PAS manage, SAS. IAAS means infrastructure as service. So in network infrastructure, in this case, you only this color, blue color you manage application, you manage data, you runtime and middleware. Like service provider, cloud provider companies, what they will do, they manage for you server, storage, networking, some virtualization, right? So IaaS user need to handle all the configuration and service. There is not much leverage, and user has a freedom to choose configuration in IaaS. But remember, more power brings more responsibility. Cost is directly portion of the control you have over the resources. Hence, the IaaS service are costly compared to PS and SAS because you have a few things you need to handle, and most of things they are handling. Some example of services provided IaaS is GCP, IP firewalls, storage, virtual, private cloud, computing service. So private cloud also they are managing, so they will charge. Now platform as service. If you see in this image, you are only taking care of data and application, right? So let's understand about the platform. So provider will provide well-defined and managed environment for your application. To simplify this, let's take the example of Android Studio, Visual Studio, Xcode. These all provide you to component to create an app for the platform. You have to use them according to your idea of app development. But there are native development platforms similar to cloud computing. Cloud provider will provide you all necessary platform to manage your data application. They handle all complexity, maintenance. These services are sometimes also called managed service, meaning users don't have to worry about the housekeeping, and these applications focus on the use of and the issues. As shown in the above image, less control you have over the service, less cost you will paying for, also resulting in more efficiency. Hence, the PaaS service is cheaper than IaaS. For example, GCP App Engine, which is the first service, BigQuery, Cloud SQL, Cloud Pub service. All these are platform as service, right? Okay, so now software as service is the abbreviation of software as service. Any software or utility we use on the browser without installing a natively used system refer as software as service. So like most of cloud service we use like Gmail, Maps, Calendar, many all are hosted in GCP. This example of SaaS service, SAS, software as service. GCP platform is backbone of all the software service product you want to develop. Taking about the cost, think you are figuring out your on by own, as you don't have to control over the software and where you are simplify your work. So they are almost free, less costly as compared to IAAS, PAAS. So mostly people is focusing here, and some company use here because we mentioned this data and application, and this traditionally image is very expensive. So now let's let's go about virtualization. So there are, again, this is divided into three categories. First one is server virtualization, storage virtualization, and network virtualization. So what is virtualization? Let's understand about this. In the day-to-day life, you use a lot of applications like Google Photos, Gmail, and so on. All these applications come under the software as service. right? Before going any further, I want you to think about how these provided virtual access of their resources, right? So every user has a different, right? So how they do different kind of virtualization, how user privacy maintained, how do multiple users use the same infrastructure. These questions are the fundamental for cloud computing. If you ever want to start your GCP service, these will be initial questions you need to answer, right? So think about some answer these questions. Let's validate those. You think about these questions and then validate. If you can't think any answer, don't worry. We will cover all this behind the cloud computing. So let's understand virtualization. If you have here had VMware or VirtualBox, it's a possibility that you are thinking about cloud virtualization correctly. All cloud providers create logical separation of their resources. There is physical was and logical. While there is no specific way to doing, every provider has a different implementation. Understanding idea is the same. Shows below the image. So as you manage, and here delivered as service, they manage. Service provider manage as in previous image, and delivered as service is this service they will deliver in PAAS. This service all they deliver for us. So efficiency and saving will increase. Control and cost will increase this area. You see the cloud computing, the hyperversion and virtualization abstracts of all hardware infrastructure. Provide stable operating system. Most likely the Linux is on top of it. After this logical separation, the resource takes place in operating system. If you look carefully at IAAS stack, you can see the OS block 50% managed by provider. This is OS block 50-50 here. So if you look carefully at the IAAS 50%, this means OS customization is available on top of main OS. This is what the VMware or VirtualBox regular laptop. So this is hardware OS, then hyperversion, then this is virtualization operating system. On top of one, they do virtualization. In case you don't know hyperversion, a computer software firmware hardware that create a run virtual machines on main OS, referred to below image. So above example of demonstrate cloud computing service provider multiple type of OS supports. However, cloud computing is involvement that need to various type of virtualization. So let's see the kind of virtualization. Now this is virtualization or hyperversions, or now next going to server virtualization, right? First we went for virtualization, and then let's understand our server virtualization. Server is a critical resource for using cloud services. Without a server, all other components are useless. Fundamentally, server is nothing but remote computer with limited package installed on it. Server virtualization is a logical separation of central server is carried out. Each logical separation has operating system, CPU, other running units on demand of GPU. So as seen above the diagram, hyperversion play a primary role of creating logical separation of central server. Once we have server, all other things can be achieved with the help. So it's basically in separation of OS. So each system we have to install some kind of software. Storage virtualization, like regular computer, if you don't have a data storage, there is no reason to having a computer itself because it will not boot up without any hard disk. Therefore, storage is required for virtual server as well. In storage virtualization, large physically hard driver are logically divided into attached to the server. Storage services are scalable. IAAS service, they are scaled according to requirement without any extra service triggers in cloud provider. So storage and virtualization is storage divide. Network virtualization, this is also very important part. Cloud computing is all about networking on the cloud. Server and storage virtualization need to accomplish the prime task. An organization needs number of computer or server hosts and service on the cloud. So all the computing power is provided per load they receive their software services. However, how do they identify each server and how one service will communicate with other? Using network and network identifier, right? So ability to create different logical network on existing system is a fundamental cloud computing. Something like virtual private cloud is a root component of very infrastructure hosted on cloud. This is logical separation, virtual net or a virtual network under which all server, storage and bank are organized. After carrying out all virtualization tasks, cloud providers also provide different ability that are not possible or time of infrastructure. So this is broad topics, and I think this image will tell you everything. And you also can read some papers about server virtualization, storage, virtual, and how they are doing. You can read the details. Thank you for watching my channel. Please like and subscribe my channel and video. Stay tuned for the next video.